Well, it's time to put the disappointment of Thursday behind us as we look ahead to Sunday's game at Dens Park as Rangers take on Dundee, looking to maintain their position at the top of the table as we head into another bloody international break. Yes, that's right. Another boring international break is upcoming. I suppose you could argue that it's kind of come at the right time for Rangers as we run in towards the end of the season. It is really a time now for Phillipe Clement to rest up his players, those that are not heading out on international duty, to get some rest and recuperation, to relax the load on them and get them ready as my dog enters the room. Apologies for that. To get them ready for the rest of the season. So look, let's look ahead to the game on Sunday. But before we do that, we've got a massive congratulations to Phillipe Clement, who was voted as Glens Vodka Premiership Manager of the Month for February. Obviously, we had a fantastic February in the league and also in Europe as well. And Phillipe Clement was at the heart of that. So as a fitting tribute, he is the Glens Vodka man. Sorry, not man of the match, not at all man of the match. He is the manager of the month for February 2024. A fantastic achievement for Big Phil. Congratulations to Phillipe Clement for his achievements with the club. So let's look ahead to the Dundee game on Sunday. So the table looks like this heading into the weekend. Now, obviously, Celtic will play first. So have an opportunity to go back to the top of the table on 71 points, putting the pressure back on us, I suppose, mean that we've got to get a positive result, a victory against Dundee on Sunday. Dundee currently as well have something to play for. They sit sixth in the table, a point clear of Hibernian and 4 points clear of Motherwell in eighth. Obviously, Dundee, if they want to maintain their top six place, to be in the top six when the split comes, they need to start picking up results and consistently pick up results to hold off Hibernian, who are improved form in the league, as are Motherwell as well after that stunning 2-1 win at Ibrox against us the other week. So it's our first league game as well since that defeat against Motherwell. So it is a game that we really do need to win. It is a game that we need to get back to winning ways in. To get that points tally back up to 73, to go into the international break sat top of the table. But like I said, Dundee will be bang up for this game. They'll be ready to fight. They'll be ready to battle because they will want to maintain that top six spot. Of course they will. You know, that will be their aspiration in this game, and they will make this game as difficult as possible for us. Now, Dundee's have had mixed results in recent times. You know, they are a very average team. So realistically, you look at the team that we can put out, even with all the injuries we have and the lethargy that they may be suffering from Thursday, and it should be still enough to beat Tony Docherty's team. So let's have a look at the results from this season so far. So we head back to Dens Park. Those of you who remember that pyro night at Dens Park when the game was delayed because a fire alarm went off because the Rangers fans set off loads of pyros. The stand glowed red, didn't it? It was a pretty amazing display. A display that could have actually got us in a lot of trouble. But the comment, of course, was no pyro, no party. Rangers went on to win the last time at Dens Park by 5-0. Ryan Jack scored. Danilo, remember him? He scored. Sam Lammers, remember him? It was a worldie. We all thought that he had turned the corner in this game with that fantastic finish from the edge of the area and that through ball in the 83rd minute for Cyril Dessers' goal. But no, it was not to be. And obviously, Sam has headed back to his native Netherlands on loan for FC Utrecht. And the game finished with a James Tavernier penalty in the 91st minute to make it 5. But the truth of the matter really is that game could have been so much more than 5. It could have been 8, 9 or 10 in realism. You know, Dinio had a good few chances, which he didn't take. There was other chances missed on the night. So it was a game that we could have won by even more, that Dundee never even threatened. It was a game that many people were seeing as being a test for Phillipe Clement, a risk of actually dropping some points. But his Rangers team went in there and absolutely blew Dundee away. And I think there'll be a hope that we can go and do that again this weekend. The next game, obviously, was at Ibrox, a 3-1 victory on the 9th of December. A game probably most notable for the sending off of Jose Cifuentes at the end of the first half for a stamp, or alleged stamp, which didn't certainly look like a red card. Even though it was VAR review, the referee then changed his mind and sent him off. which I think was an absolute disgrace in the end. Now, that game could have been so different. Rangers were 3-0 up, were 3-1 up, sorry, going into half time. A goal from Cyril Dessers. Now, Dundee actually took the lead, as you can see in that game, with Bakayoko, but Rangers roared back into the game with a goal from Cyril Dessers, a penalty from James Tavernier, and a finish from Abdallah Sima. Remember him? What a player he can be still. Anyway, there we go. So 3-1 in that game, and that was a performance, if you remember, that Rangers put on a classic second half, down to 10 men, holding on, playing a defensive action, and doing a fantastic job in that game to get that 3-1 victory over Dundee. So both the games this season have ended in positive results for Rangers. So all looking good so far. But, look, one of the big concerns we've got to have, obviously, coming into this game is the loss in the league against Motherwell. Motherwell had a clear plan. They knew how to beat us, and they went out and executed their plan perfectly. So, so Tony Docherty will have watched that game. I'm sure as well that, he will have come up with his own plan. I'm sure they will sit in. They will make life as difficult as possible for us. They will, spoil, and they will fight, and they will battle, and they'll slow the game down. They'll break the game up as much as possible. They'll do everything they can not to get into a football match, to get into a fight. Yes, a football match. No. The other concern, obviously, I think, is the lethargy, the tiredness from Thursday night. An intense game at Ibrox against Benfica, which ultimately ended in defeat. But, if you go back to that game, a lot of the players looked very tired. They looked to be running on empty. They looked to, be lacking an extra gear to go up to be able to beat them. Now, you could argue that probably you might not need to find that extra gear to beat Dundee, but it is a worry, that fatigue. And I think, it's all about, realistically, at Dens Park on Sunday, any win will do. The performance doesn't need to matter. A scruffy 1-0 will do coming out of this game. I know that's probably not the best attitude to have, but I'm just worried with, number one, all the injuries we've got, and number two, obviously, the fatigue levels. Yes, we have players returning like Todd Cantwell, Ross McCausland, etc., but we still have no Sima, no Cortez, for example. We're missing those two key players on the left-hand side. There is a real sort of imbalance in the team. You look at the players, and Silva didn't have a great game against Dundee. McCausland's only kind of working his way back from injury. Dujon Sterling is out. There is a real lack of options there. Matondo didn't have the best, came on, didn't do great. Scott Wright was Scott Wright. So, there is a worry there. Now, I'm not going to reveal my team in this video. I will reveal that in the Matchday News video on Sunday. So please, obviously, come and check that out. Now, let's have a little look at how Dundee are getting on going into this fixture with us. So their results, their last 6 games that they've played, all league games, as you can see here. So they had a 2-1 home win over St Johnstone, a 2-0 home win over Ross County. They lost away from home to Hibernian 2-1. They took an absolute pummeling from Celtic at Celtic Park, 7-1. They drew 2-2 against Killie, and they won 1-0 against Aberdeen. So as you can see, their last 4 home games, they've actually not lost. They've won 3, drawn 1, which is, an impressive result. Now, you could argue that some of those teams, weren't the best. Obviously, Killie are top 6, but had a player sent off. Aberdeen, well, we all know the Aberdeen thing is a bit of a joke. Neil Warnock, yes, may have got them to the semi-finals, but other than that, he did nothing for them in the league. A win over Ross County, a win over St Johnstone are both down the bottom. Now, look, I know they're quite, I know their record is quite clearly good there. Their last home defeat came on the 3rd of February, a 3-2 defeat to Hearts. Before that, they played a lot of away games. They lost 3-0 to Celtic on the 28th of December. So, they have had defeats at home, and certainly to us as well. You've got to look at it in terms of, no matter what they field, we should have, even with players, a lack of players through injury, a lack of a tiredness amongst the squad, we should still have more than enough to beat Dundee. There should be more than enough talent out there to go and put them to the sword and finish them off. You look at the results overall, the 46 games that have been played between Rangers and Dundee. Rangers have won 36. There's been 6 draws and only 4 victories in those 46 games for Dundee, which is, absolutely incredible. It really is a pretty incredible rate, that is. To have won 36 out of 46 games is pretty mental. That represents a 78% win ratio for Rangers, 112 goals for Rangers, only 26 goals for Dundee in that time. Rangers have pretty much owned Dundee throughout their entire existence. And obviously, it's to be hoped that that will then continue on Sunday, that we will continue to own them. We will continue to put them to the sword and to beat them. Look, there is obviously worry about the players. There is concern over the fitness. There is concern over the lethargy that is there. There is concern over all those things. But I keep coming back to this point. There should be more than enough in this team to be able to beat Dundee. Dundee are not world beaters. They are not Benfica. This Rangers team, if it is serious about winning the league, which it is, we know it is, should have more than enough to be able to put this team away. We obviously are going to go into the international break, so it is really sort of imperative that we, get the victory and we take all 3 points away from Sunday's game. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. We should, like I said, we should have more than enough. Now, whether Todd Cantwell features is another debate. Todd obviously came off the bench, didn't have much of an impact, didn't look particularly fit. Phillipe Clement does have a bit of a history of not bringing players straight back into the starting lineup. One change I would make on Sunday is I would start Kemar Roofe over Cyril Dessers. Even if we were only to get 45 minutes out of Kemar Roofe, I still think that, in a tight game, which it well could be, any chance that falls to Kemar Roofe, he is far more likely to take than Cyril Dessers. He's more of a threat for me. So I would actually start with Kemar Roofe up front. Let me know who you would start up front. Guys, we'll obviously be back on Sunday with our match day news video. We will bring you, obviously, the team. Well, that's pretty much it for the preview today. Look, it's going to be a tough game. Of course it is, because they're going to sit in, they're going to spoil, they're going to try and ruin the game as much as possible. And I think, like I said, I know it's perhaps not the right attitude, but any win will do going into this international break just to get us back on top of the league, which I'm sure we'll have to. Look, as bad and as terrible and as awful as Celtic are, and they are not good this season, they're still going to be a threat. They're still going to be having a go. They are at home on Saturday to a very poor St Johnstone team. I can't realistically see them dropping any more points there. So again, I think the pressure will be back on us and we will need to win. Well, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll be bringing you my prediction and my team tomorrow in the matchday news video. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, if you can smash the sub, that'd be phenomenal. Help the channel to keep on growing. On the way out, 2 things I always ask of you. Number 1 is to smash the like, and number 2 is to remember always, we are the people.